Hey man, how you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing? Thanks so much for taking the
I'm
time to
good.
chat with me.
Absolutely.
So, the Doom that came to Gotham, this isn't perhaps maybe a version of these characters and this world that everyone in the audience is going to be familiar with. What can you tell us about this kind of supernatural 1920s inspired version of the Batman story?
But what I think is great about it is that, Batman and Bruce Wayne, his sensibilities are definitely intact. And what I find great about it, I've watched it, and what I loved about it was this, as you said, the supernatural qualities to it. It takes Batman to another world, the Elseworld, and what it does is it opens up a whole new place for us to watch him behave, to see who he is. And what's great is that you find that the core foundations of who Batman is the same thing, no matter what world he's in.
Yeah.
And what's interesting story-wise is that you get to see these other characters. Harvey Dent's there and Commissioner Gordon, Barbara Gordon, his daughter, so they're there, but they're out of place where we are familiar with them. And yet they are familiar people to us. And so I think that's what makes the tale so interesting to watch.
Absolutely. And so you just touched on the character there, but you're playing Harvey Dent, again, a character that many in the audience are going to presume that they know who he is and they know the journey that he's going to go through. And that's something which is presented very, very differently in this film. Is that exciting to you as an actor to kind of not just take on such a huge story, but to take on a character that the audience has these presumptions about, that they know who they are, and get to bring a new perspective to them?
Well, I think so. I think, fans, of course, want what they want, right?
Yeah.
But, they do, right? Look, there's a familiarity. Like, I know who Harvey Dent is, right? People are like, that's who he has. And so when you start to go outside of that realm, it might make people a little uncomfortable. But what's great is that there is this extra window. Harvey's good guyness and him wanting to help the city, I really like a lot. I love the fact that he's given a speech how he's running for mayor, and
Yeah.
and the notion that he's literally, talk about like hitting the nail on the head. He's going to clean up the rats and the vermin of Gotham, I think, is a brilliant stroke. It's so fun. And also, watching this world's version of Poison Ivy get to him, to have his face disfigured the way it is, which is familiar. Eventually we see Harvey Dent as the Two-Face that we know him to become, but it's a different iteration of how it happens. And also, in that the last time we see him, basically, when Batman's entering the cave, going underworld, he's guarding the gate, but he doesn't really guard the gate. Harvey doesn't. He actually wishes Batman good luck. So there's something different there about him, which shows a humanity about Harvey that I think is fun to see, and I think fans will really like it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm always interested to hear from actors how they find their voice for an animated character. So when you hit that recording booth, where did Harvey come from?
Well, I have to say, the first thing I wanted to do was make sure I wasn't trying to just ape Tommy Lee Jones in the movie. Because Tommy Lee Jones, for me, is a really great actor, and that was a high energy performance that he gave in. And I was at the right age where that burned into me, so I was like, "Don't be Tommy Lee Jones." But the great thing is, Wes Gleason is our booth director, and Wes really is a master at getting what he needs to get out, and he's a great way to, in terms of directing voice, it's a real art. Not that directing actors, straight up isn't, but it's a different kind of thing. And he puts thoughts in my brain and attitudes in my brain and suggestions that brings out something that's already in me. As an actor, you take the script and you want to do your intentions and what's going on. But Wes is really good at feathering in other ideas, because Wes also has a better idea of what the totality of the whole thing is. So really, I put my hands in Wes Gleason, and he makes me look good. There's your answer.
Well, I was going to touch on that exact thing. You obviously worked with Wes on The Death and Reign of Superman as well. It has to be incredibly reassuring to know that you've got someone who is considered a legend in the world of DC animation. They're helping you to bring this character to life. And then I presume because you'd worked with him before, you kind of had that shorthand as well. It helps you kind of just get going with this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it was really great. Wes and I know each other. And so therefore, as we started to do it, he was able to say, like, okay, you're Harvey in this one. All right. You're not Hank Henshaw in this one, which is a gentle way of saying maybe something different, my friend, which is good. I can take that. But, he has a sensibility of what we're going for tone-wise. And I haven't done a ton of animation. I haven't done a ton of voiceover work when it comes to that. And so therefore, I'm a little nervous and scared about it. And he was really good at encouraging me to go as far as I needed to go. And that was always, that's exciting as an actor to be able to do that.
Absolutely, yeah. And now that you have done a couple of these films as well, can you compare it to doing live action work? Do you enjoy one more than the other? How do you kind of get your head around the variation between the two very, very different styles?
Well, I wish I had a camera on me when I was in the booth. So guess what? I'm acting up a storm. There's no doubt about it. My arms are moving. I'm trying to move. Matter of fact, a couple of times they had to remind me, you need to stay on the mic, Patrick, because I was running around and moving off the microphone because it's exciting and it's fun. So in that respect, it's the same for me. It's just I'm not wearing the pretty clothes anymore. Any kind of storytelling is what I got in this for. And what was great was when I watched the Dune that came to Gotham, I was reminded of the magic of it all, the magic of storytelling, whether it's live action or animation. I love going into different worlds, and it's honor and it's fun, and it always makes me pinch myself to know that I'm lucky enough to be in it.
I have to remind myself, I do this every time one of these films comes out, but I have to remind myself that the cast aren't all together in the recording booth when you're, doing the dialogue for this. Is that something that you miss during those sessions, or are you just too busy having fun running around the room to kind of notice that you're just playing with the script and the visuals in front of you rather than other actors?
Yeah, you know what? I do miss that, and I think there are times when people do get to do scenes together. I believe we were doing this during COVID still, when COVID protocols were very much up and running, and so therefore it was, I don't even think I got to shake their hands. I was more like I came into my booth and I saw them through the glass and all that sort of thing, which is okay. That's what work was at that point, and it's changed now. So I don't know if there's a situation where they actually let them be together. And to your point, to answer your question directly, it is a bit odd, but guess what? Pretending for a living is a bit odd. So it's just another, chalk it up to another day at work.
And you touched on Tommy Lee Jones there, but just before I dialed in, I was looking at just the list of actors who have voiced him, played him, Harvey, in other projects. And, I'd forgotten that William Shatner voiced him in Batman vs. Two-Face a few years ago. What do you think it is about a character like this, or characters like Batman, which make them so enduring in pop culture? Oh,
a timeless tale of good and evil and intelligence and people wanting to do their best but being brought down by the circumstances around them. And I think Harvey's great. He's literally called Two-Face because he's at war with himself. And I think most people are, right? Most people they want to do good, but sometimes circumstances don't allow them to, and they make poor choices. And I think redemption is a theme that runs through a lot of the comic world, right?
Yeah.
How you can get out of something, how you can take back or make the past go away, and I think Two-Face is also there as well. So I think people recognize that and they relate to it. And come on. Who doesn't want to be Batman? Who hasn't thought they were Batman once or twice?
That's pretty much every day for me, I think. Yeah. So what's next for you? What are you working on at the moment?
Oh, you know what? I just wrapped an independent film called The Way We Speak, which will be out sometime hopefully next year. And a very wonderful thing. I've been working on Kung Fu up in Vancouver.
Of course,
I got to get my ass handed to me by a bunch of young people, which is really fun. And, whatever's next on the horizon. I've been a working actor for 30 years, and what's really great is the adventure of what's next. So if you know anybody, let me know.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's a great version of Harvey. I can't wait for people who've read the comic book to see it and see how they make little tweaks and changes to keep it exciting. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, man. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks very much.
Neil.
Thanks for watching, Super Friends. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button just down below and hit the bell so that you can get notified whenever we release brand new videos. In fact, there's 2 more waiting for you to watch right here below. So what are you waiting for? Why not click play?